Frédéric Bastiat's The Law is a remarkably concise yet powerful treatise that explores the proper role of law and government in society. Written in the mid-19th century, it remains a foundational text in classical liberal and libertarian thought. Bastiat begins by asserting that law's legitimate purpose is to protect individual rights, specifically life, liberty, and property. From this premise, he builds a clear and passionate argument against the misuse of law to serve special interests or collective ends that violate these fundamental rights. The book opens with a striking observation: law is a collective force, wielded by society to enforce justice and order. Bastiat stresses that the law is not merely a set of rules but a moral instrument designed to uphold natural rights. When properly used, law defends everyone's freedom equally. However, he warns that law can be perverted into a tool of plunder when it grants some individuals or groups the power to take from others under the guise of legality. Bastiat's narrative flows with clarity and conviction, making complex ideas accessible without losing depth. He warns against what he calls legal plunder, where laws enable certain groups to benefit at the expense of others, whether through protectionism, subsidies, or excessive taxation. Such misuse corrupts the law's purpose, undermines justice, and erodes social trust. One of the book's most compelling sections explains how government actions intended to help one group often end up harming others. Bastiat illustrates this with vivid examples, showing how subsidies for a particular industry might raise prices for consumers or how tariffs designed to protect domestic businesses can limit competition and innovation. His insights reveal the unintended consequences of well-meaning but misguided legislation. The law also addresses the temptation governments face to expand their power continually. Bastiat cautions that this expansion, even if initially justified by good intentions, ultimately threatens liberty for all. He emphasizes that when laws become instruments of redistribution or privilege, society drifts away from justice and equality before the law. Throughout the text, Bastiat underscores the importance of individual responsibility and voluntary cooperation. He envisions a society where individuals freely engage in trade and mutual aid without coercion. For Bastiat, economic freedom and respect for property rights are inseparable from broader human freedom. Bastiat's prose is marked by a sharp wit and a keen sense of justice. He uses reasoned argumentation and moral clarity to dismantle common misconceptions about government's role. For example, he challenges the notion that the law can be used to make things fair by redistributing wealth, arguing instead that true fairness requires respecting individual rights and limiting state power. The book's brevity is one of its greatest strengths. In fewer than 100 pages, Bastiat distills complex political and economic philosophy into a compelling call for limited government and respect for natural rights. This economy of words makes the law an enduring and accessible classic. Bastiat also explores the idea that when government extends beyond its rightful role, it breeds resentment and social division. He warns that favoritism granted through law can create envy and conflict among citizens, undermining social cohesion and peace. A particularly memorable part of the law is Bastiat's discussion of the seen and the unseen. He urges readers to consider not only the immediate, visible effects of government policies but also the longer-term and hidden consequences. This perspective encourages critical thinking about public policy and economic interventions. Bastiat's work is deeply optimistic about human nature's capacity for cooperation when freed from coercion. He believes that a just legal system creates the conditions for prosperity and peace by protecting freedom and property. The author's commitment to natural rights situates the law within a broader tradition of Enlightenment thought, yet his arguments remain fresh and urgent in today's context of growing government powers and complex economic challenges. Bastiat's influence can be seen in many modern libertarian and classical liberal thinkers who advocate for limited government, free markets, and individual liberty. His clear moral vision continues to inspire debates on the limits of law and the role of the state. In conclusion, The Law is more than a political pamphlet, it is a timeless meditation on justice, freedom, and the moral foundations of law. Bastiat's incisive reasoning invites readers to reconsider the role of government and to champion laws that protect rather than plunder.